Photosynthesis is a remarkable process that plants use to create their own food. It's like a chef's kitchen inside the leaves. Today, we dwell into the heart of biology, balancing the equation for photosynthesis. Discover the magic of this essential process as we decode its chemical symphony. Here's a simplified breakdown. Plants have special cells in their leaves called chloroplast. These chloroplasts contain a green pigment called chlorophyll, which acts like a solar panel, capturing sunlight. Through their roots, plants absorb water from the soil. They also take in carbon dioxide from the air through tiny pores called stomata in their leaves. Inside the chloroplast, a series of chemical reaction takes place, fueled by sunlight. This is where the magic begins. Using the energy from sunlight, plants combine water and carbon dioxide to create glucose, a type of sugar, and oxygen. The glucose serves as the plant's food, while the oxygen is released into the air for us to breathe. The glucose produced during photosynthesis provides the energy plants need to grow, bloom, and carry out their life processes. Now, let's unlock the secrets of its chemical harmony by balancing the equation that sustains life on our planet. Here, we have the symbolic representation of photosynthesis, a magical transformation where carbon dioxide and water combine to form glucose and release oxygen as a byproduct. As mesmerizing as this equation is, it's currently imbalanced, and our task is to restore harmony using the laws of conservation. I have written the chemical formula for each of them. For carbon dioxide, it's CO2. That would mean one molecule of carbon dioxide contains one carbon atom and two oxygen atoms. For water, it is H2O, glucose C6H12O6, and finally for oxygen, it's O2. And now let's begin the process of balancing this equation to ensure that every atom is accounted for before and after this chemical reaction, preserving the delicate dance of nature's chemistry. Now let us begin by writing the chemical equation for photosynthesis. We have carbon dioxide, we have water, which will give us glucose, and oxygen as a byproduct. Now, this chemical equation is not balanced. In order to balance this chemical equation, we need to first write down all the elements from the reactant side and all the elements from the product side. We write these elements over here, we bring down these elements and write down over here and count the number of atoms. So we have carbon from the reactant side, we have oxygen, we have hydrogen. And moving on to the product side, we have carbon again, we have oxygen, and we have hydrogen. Okay, so let's count them up. So from the reactant side, how many carbons do you see? Well, there's just one because there's nothing in the subscript, which means 1. So you write that 1 over here. And moving on to the product side, how many carbons do we see here? 6. So we write down 6 over here. That's just what I'm going to do. So here is 1 and here is your 6. And as you can see that you need to balance this. You need to convert 1 to 6. How can you do that? You need to convert this 1 to 6. And you cannot, well, many of you can say that maybe you can just write a 6 over here in the subscript. You can't do that. It's not allowed. You cannot change all these small numbers. We call them the subscript. You cannot change them. That's the number of atoms. Okay, you can't change that. So what you can do is you can just multiply 1 by 6 in order to get 6. So that's step number 1. You need to multiply 1 by 6 and you got that 6 over there. But where are you going to write this? As I told you, you cannot write the 6 at in this space given over here at the subscript. You can't do that, so we'll put the 6 over here just next to that C. Okay, which means basically the same thing. 6 times 1, 6 times 1 is just 6. Okay, so we got that balanced. Now let's do hydrogen for now. So how many hydrogen atoms do we have from the reactant side? 2. So you can write that 2 over here. And how many are there from the product side? How many hydrogen atoms are there? We have 12. So you can write down 12 over here. Okay, so 2 over here and 12 over here. And as you can see, you need to balance this as well. So yes, absolutely. So what you can do is you can multiply 2 by 6 in order to get the 12, right? You can do that. You can do that. But as I told you, you cannot just take this off and write 12. I told you you can't change the subscript. What you can do is put that 6 over here. And that's just where I'm going to put the 6. Now 6 times 2, you get that 12. And we got the 12 as it is from the product side. So we got those two balanced up. Okay, just like how we got the carbons balanced, we got the hydrogen balanced. Now, last but not the least, we have oxygen. We have oxygen over here. So you would be probably give an answer like there are 3 oxygen atoms from the reactant side. You would add 2 plus this 1, 3. But some of you may forget that we have written this number at the beginning and you need to take those numbers into account. So the 6 has to be taken into account. The 6 over here has to be taken into account. Okay, so just like how we did 6 times 1 and we got for the carbon, just like that, we're going to multiply 6 with this 2. So 6 times 2 is 12. So we just write the 12 over here. But we're not done yet because we have another oxygen in this water molecule. Okay, so 12 from this side, 12 from this side, that's 6 times 2 is 12, plus 6 times 1. So that's 12 plus 6. Okay, I hope you got that. 12 plus 6 and you get an 18. All right, moving on to the product side, you could put a 6 over here. You could put a 6 over here because then it would be 6 times 2 is 12. You can write that down over here. And as it is, we have 6 oxygen atoms, so that needs to be added as well along with the 12. So 12 plus 6 is 18. Okay, so 12 plus 6 is 18, and we got these things balanced up as well. So, oops, I forgot to mention. I forgot to write the 6 over here. All right, now this is our balanced equation. This is our balanced equation. So writing this down, what you mean by this equation is that you have 6 molecules of carbon dioxide combined with 6 molecules of water, which will produce glucose and 6 molecules of oxygen. This is your balanced equation for photosynthesis. So many people wanted to know why is it important to balance these chemical equations. Balancing chemical equations is essential because it ensures that the fundamental principle of chemical reactions, known as the law of conservation of mass, is obeyed. The law of conservation of mass states that in a closed system, mass is neither created nor destroyed. during a chemical reaction. In other words, the total mass of the reactants must be equal to the total mass of the products. When a chemical equation is balanced, it means that the number of atoms of each element on both sides of the equation is the same. This ensures that the total number of atoms of each element remains constant before and after the reaction.